Alright guys, good day. My name remains Endurance. Okay, so just like I've explained in the first video that we have two methods of reducing leveling feedback. The other method, we have the rise and fall and the height of instrument. So in the previous video, I used height of instrument method, but this one now we're using rise and fall method. Here is the question that we want to solve. The leveling was actually run between two benchmarks A and B. That shows the starting point. The thing actually starts from B. It started from A, then ends on B. Alright, we have the reduced level of the 2 points. Then the staff readings from the first one at A to the last one at P. And like I told you earlier, the last reading on site is foresight. It's always foresight. While the first one is the back site. In between the back site and the foresight, we have what we call intermediate site. Alright, so and the reading you take, the reading before the change of instrument position is what we call the last reading. Yes, the last reading before the change of instrument position is what we refer to as foresight. And immediately after instrument setup, the reading you take is what we refer to as the backside. So if you look at this question, you will notice that this is what? A backside. Then after this, we have what we call change of point. That is, after these readings, they change the instrument position. That's why this one is a foresight. So in between these two readings, we have this, which these two are actually intermediate sides. Then immediately after this change of point, there will surely be temporary adjustment. As a surveyor, you should know what that one is all about. You've set up your instrument now, you've leveled it, you're done, you want to start the observation. The very first one you take is what we call the backside. Then you still have this one to the intermediate. This one is foresight because it's after this one you have your change of point. The question can come in any form. Your knowledge of what leveling operation is all about, how it's being carried out on site, will help you in the interpretation. So let's we have column for backside, intermediate, foresight. Okay, let's do this first. The first reading we have is 1.085 and it is a backside. Just like I told you, this one will be what? Intermediate side. You cannot have, this line cannot have any other reading apart from backside. It's the line of benchmark, which is the very first. This very first one is always the backside that is usually there. No other reading will be there. You cannot have intermediate and foresight here. But subsequently, when there is a change of instrument, there will be backside and foresight on the same line. That's when we have change of point. Alright, so this one is an intermediate side. Also, this one is also an intermediate side. Then this one, which is the last reading before the change of instrument position, is what? A foresight. And immediately after instrument setup, you have backside. So this point is a change of point. After this, we have another intermediate side, which is 2.003. Then before this one, the reason why this one is foresight is because this is the last reading before change of instrument. Then we have backside for this line, followed by intermediate. Then this one is a foresight because after this one again, they change the instrument position and we have this 1.426 to be a backside, followed by this intermediate side. And I told you earlier that the last reading on site is what? Foresight, 0.911. Alright, so we are using rise and fall method, right? After this one, we have rise, which is positive, fall, which is negative. Then we have what we call calculated RL, which is reduced level. Then we have correction, and we have the adjusted reduced level here, followed by remarks. Alright, so here, this one is for point A, and A is a benchmark. You write this under the mark here. And this last one is for point B, which is another benchmark. Alright, so where you have this backside and foresight, this is the first change of point, CP1. This is the second change of point, and this is the third change of point. Alright, so from the question, what is the reduced level of A? Reduced level of A is 43.650. Don't forget it's in meters. All these readings are in meters. Then this one, 41.672. 41.672 is the adjusted reduced level for B. That is the one you were given. It's just like the corrected one. It has been adjusted. It is assumed that there's no error. It is a true, although most times we don't have the true value, it is the most probable value. So we assume this is the true reduced level of point A and B. So we need the adjusted reduced level of all these ones. The reason why we are having column for correction is because at the end of the day, after all these reductions, we will not have the last reduced level here will not be the same as what we have here. So there will surely be need for correction, because no matter how perfect you may be as a surveyor, there will surely be an error, no matter how small it may be. Alright, so from here now, how do we get this rise and fall? Now you start. Now, you treat this case setup by setup. So you treat it setup by setup. Alright, so how do you do this? Now, this back side minus this intermediate side. If it's positive, you write it under rise. If it's negative, you write it under fall. Take note, there will not be anything here in this line. So this value, this backside minus this intermediate gives you either if it's positive, write it under rise, and negative, write it under fall. Remember, you cannot have rise and fall on the same line. Alright, so this one too, this intermediate side minus this one gives you the next value here. Maybe it will be under rise or fall. Then when you press calculator, you know what that one is saying. Then this one, this intermediate minus this foresight, this is the next value. Now, you will take note that if you are observant, you will see that I did not say this 2.231 minus 0.613. Why? Because this setup actually ends here. So this is another setup entirely. So if we are going to start with this one now, it will be this 0.613 minus 2.003. Then this 2.003 minus 2.335. We are done with another setup. Then this one again, like this. Then lastly we have this one. Now, it is this value minus this one, not the other way around this. Alright, so now 1.085 minus 2.036. The answer here is minus 0.951, and that is under 4. 0.951. You will see, you will take note that if you observe, you see that I didn't bother to put negative because I already know that anything under 4 is negative and anything under rise is positive. Alright, so the next one is 2.036 minus 2.231. This one is also a negative value, which is 0.195. Also, 2.231 minus 3.014. This one also is negative. So we write it under 4, and that is 0.783. Then you are done with this first setup. You now look at this second setup now. 0.613 minus 2.003 is also negative, which is under, you are going to write it under 4. Alright, so this value here we've done this, so the next one now is this 2. So this one here minus this is also negative. We have it to be 0.332. It is minus. So if you are writing it under 4, there's no need for you to be putting the negative sign. Alright, so we are done with this setup again. So we move to the next setup. So 1.622 minus 1.283. That one is positive. So you write it under rise. That is 0.339. Alright, so then the next one is this value minus this one. It's also positive. We write it under rise. And okay, we are done with this setup as well. Then, because it ends here, this is another setup entirely. So we have this 1.426 minus 1.795. And that is minus 0.369. So since it's negative, write it under 4. And lastly, we have this value here minus this 4 side. It's going to be positive, obviously, and is 0.884. Alright, so sum all these back side together. If we sum that, we have 4.746. Also, the 4 sides, if you sum this together, all the readings here, we have 6.803. If we sum all the rights together, we have 1.963. Then, summation of all the 4, we have 4.020. Now, there's what we call arithmetic check. Okay, but before then, let's get the calculated reduced level. Now, there's a big difference between rise and fall method and height of instrument method. Now, in height of instrument method, you need to get height of instrument for each setup and you continue like that. But that is the height of instrument you have for first setup is what you are going to use to get what? That's what you are going to use to get the calculated reduced level for the first setup. While to get the one for second setup, you need to look for another height of instrument. But when you are dealing with rise and fall method, it's not like that. It's just like cumulative frequency. Now, reduced level of the next point, let's say I here, where I can be the first, second, third, fourth point, equals to this one now. The first reduced level we have now will be reduced level of benchmark plus rise or fall. Now, this is, let's put it like this, that reduced level of n equals to reduced level of n minus 1 plus rise or minus 4. What this one is telling me is that reduced level of n is, if n is 2, that is, for instance, now you want to look for a reduced level of this line, it will be reduced level of the one before it. So that's why I say like cumulative frequency. So the reduced level of n, if you are looking for reduced level of this point now, it will be reduced level of this one plus either rise or fall. So if it is fall, you subtract it. If it is rise, you add it. Alright, so how do we, if you want to get the calculated reduced level here now, it will just be this adjusted reduced level here, that is reduced level of this benchmark plus this one. Now, don't forget that this one is negative. Since it's negative, that minus is just like saying 43.650 plus minus 0.951. So you will see that this one now will just be like saying, because this plus times minus will be minus. So it will now be 43.65 minus 0.951. So if it is any value under 4, just subtract it. But if it's under rise, you add it. Now, if you press 43.650 minus 0.951, since it is negative here, you have 42.699. That is the calculated reduced level of the point there. Now, if you want to get the second one, it will be this one minus this, since it's under 4. So you are not going back there again. So it's forward ever. So this one you have there 42.699 minus 0.195. And that gives you the next reduced level, which is 42.504. Then this one that you just got minus this one again, since it's still under 4, that gives you the next reduced level here, which is 41.721. Alright, so 41.721 minus this rise and what's it called now? 4 here. Yes, it's 4. So this one now minus this will give you 40.331. So this, you continue like that. This one now minus this, since it's negative, we have this to be 39.999. Alright. Well, you will notice that here now is right. So you add this and this together. When the summation of this and this, or the addition rather, addition of this one and this one equals 40.338. Alright, when you have that one to be 40 point, you add this one now and this one together, since this other rise, and I've told you rise is positive. So addition of this one and this gives us the next reduced level, which is 41.078. Alright, so when you have 41. Now, what about the next one? You will see that this is 4, so you subtract it. So this value here, this reduced level minus 4 will give you the next reduced level, which is 40.709. And lastly, this to get the reduced level of this point now, just add this and this together. Then you have this one to be 41.593. So we can now do arithmetic check. It will be summation of backside minus summation of the foresight equals summation of rise minus summation of fall equals the last reduced level minus the first reduced level. Now, in some textbooks, you will see they will write it this way, that summation of foresight minus summation of backside equals to summation of fall minus summation of rise equals to the first reduced level minus the last reduced level. The goal is, the answer you got for this must be the same thing. So we have this one now to be 4.746 minus 6.803 to be equals to 1.963 minus 4.020, which is equals to the last reduced level here is 41.593 minus the first one, which is this 43.650. So if you find the difference between this, you have minus 2.057, and this one too minus 2.057. This other one too will give you minus 2.057. Then you can say your check is okay. Then you can continue with your work. Now, you want to get total correction. How do you get total correction? So if you need total correction, let me clean this space. All right. So to get total correction now, is equals to this adjust this the closing this closing point, which is this benchmark here, this last one is adjusted reduced level, that is 41.672 minus this reduced level here, the last one here under calculated, which is 41.593. So if you find the difference between that one, the answer is plus 0.079. Alright, so we have this as the total correction. The next thing we look for is correction per second. Now, here you write 0.079. If you add these two together, you must get this. If not, you are wrong. Alright, so You now look for what we call correction per setup. And that is equals to your total correction divided by the number of setup. The number of setup is 4. How do I know? Just count the number of back sides or the number of foresight. The number of foresight or the number of back side gives you the total number of setup. And when you divide this, if you count this one and you say 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is total, so this one is not part. Don't make the mistake. You just have 1, 2, 3, 4 back sides there, which is also, if you count the foresight, it is 4. Now take note, in learning operation, number of back sides should be equal, must be equal to number of foresight. Alright, so if you divide this one now by 4, we have it to be plus 0.01975. Alright, so for the first setup, the correction, because now each setup has same correction, yes. So for the first setup now, you multiply this value here by 1 and it will still give you the same result. So all the first setup reading, you will write the same value. So just approximate this one to 3 decimal places, we have it to be plus 0.020. Now, where did the first setup stop? How will you know? The way you will know is trace for where there is foresight, the first one. You know, the thing started from here, you have the first foresight here. So you are to end that value, right? You keep writing the value until you get to this point. So you stop here. So that's what this point to say have the same result. Now, you are done with that first one. What of second setup? The correction that will be there will be, you multiply this correction by setup by 2. For third setup, it will be by 3. For the last, which is the fourth one, by 4. So if you multiply this one by 2, and you approximate it to 3 decimal places, we have plus 0.040. And second setup actually ends here. So we have plus 0.040. Alright. For the third one, multiply the same value here by 3. If you multiply it by 3, to give you 0.059. I have actually approximated this to what? 3 decimal places. Alright, so where will you stop writing that? Trace it. This is the foresight. Okay? You stop here. Then the last one, which is the fourth setup, multiply this value by 4. And that gives you 0.079. And you end the whole thing here. You already have the value here before, so you don't need to stress yourself. The next thing you will be doing now is you add the addition of these 2 columns. You are adding the value you have under calculated reduced level to the one you have under correction to get the adjusted reduced level. But be careful, follow the sign strictly. This one now, you add them. If it is negative, you subtract this from this one. So since it is positive, so this one plus this, you have the corrected reduced level here to be 42.719. So this, if you add these 2 together, you have this one to be 42.524. Then, if you add these 2, you have 41.741. Then, if you add these 2, you have 40.371. If you add these 2, you have 40.039. These 2, you have 40.397. And if you add these 2, you have 41.137. If you add these 2, you have 40.788. And if you add these 2 together, you have this. You can see that that is how you are going to get all the adjusted reduced level. So far so good. We've come to the end of this solving. We are done now. You can now see the table is looking so nice. So we are done. I can show you now that this is very correct. So as long as you can interpret your question to You can interpret it like this. You know the one that is backside, the intermediate, and the foresight. Then what is next? What is the next step? Is how you will get all these ones. So which I've done justice to. I believe with this one, you should be able to go far. When it comes to solving any question on leveling operation, maybe you have to carry out Facebook reduction using any of the methods. Now please, whatever method you have to use, follow it strictly and you will get your answer. Either you use rise and fall or height of instrument for the same question, obviously you are going to get the same answer. So thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate. Once again, my name remains Kolawole Oyenusi Endurance. Alright, so I would like you to subscribe to this channel, react, yes, like it, comment, share. It is very important because if this has helped you in one way or the other, why don't you allow others to benefit from it? God bless you guys. See you in the next video.